How powerful is Goddess Asuna and every underworld goddess? This includes a certain twisted blonde fellow. So what's up guys, Foxen here. Let's go ahead and dive into this juicy SEO topic. But first, I'm excited for Bookwalker sponsoring this lovely SEO video. In fact, most of the juicy goddess details come from the SEO books. You might have heard of Bookwalker. They are the official store for all the manga and light novels you love. So if you want to find out more about your favorite SEO character, especially Asuna and Kirito, Alice too, or just get ahead of the SEO anime, perfect time to start. Let's go, SEO light novel 17 and 18. Trust me, I made sure this is high quality stuff. Head over to Bookwalker, sign up, and use my coupon code FOXEN to get 600 yen off. That's like $5 off, which means an entire book for a few dollars. Under $1 for stuff on sale. On top of SEO, you do have Attack on Titan, Konosuba, ReZero, and much more. Check them out after this video. Kicking this off, the lovely Goddess Asuna. You recently saw Asuna log in as Goddess Stacia, the goddess of creation. Fun fact, marriages in the underworld are dedicated to Goddess Stacia. Then for the Goddess Account Power, which is the Full Metal Alchemist's divine ability of creation or destruction for land, complete with that bright light show in the sky. So far, you've seen Asuna split the ground creating this canyon, along with making that giant separating wall. If you actually want to compare that to other underworld abilities, what Goddess Asuna can do actually exceeds what over 10,000 sacred arts users working together could accomplish. Not even Quinella could achieve this level of land manipulation. As a nice little bonus, her ability could even get limited control over large objects for a few seconds. For example, statues. That'll be until the pain kicks in. And yes, the pain, aka the restriction on this divine ability. In the SEO anime, you were told that this could overload Asuna's floodlight. The anime explanation, or lack thereof, was actually far more generous than the actual risk that Asuna is taking. Keep in mind, Asuna is connected via the Soul Translator. Each time causes this colossal strain on her floodlight, leading to those horrendous headaches. Asuna described this feeling as if she were being stabbed by sharp needles. If she keeps going past the headaches, that could forcefully disconnect Asuna, or worse, potentially even physically damage Asuna's brain. Yeah, this is no joke. And really just going based off the anime's display of Asuna's almighty power, it really feels like destruction comes much easier. Perhaps that's due to data destruction, rather than adding to the heap. Besides the special goddess ability, don't forget about her HP, practically at the near maximum possible for the underworld. Even a few hundred swords penetrating Asuna wouldn't be able to take her out, although pain is a completely different matter. For the Goddess Asuna weapon, it's called the Radiant Rapier. This is a high priority weapon, even surpassing Alice's divine weapon. In other words, this is much more powerful than any divine weapon from the Integrity Knights. The cherry on top here is having GM level gear with the Goddess account. Then for other fun bonuses, Asuna still has all her SAO experience, plus muscle memory, which also includes any SAO move or skill. Asuna herself is used to fighting SAO bosses that have taken hours to finish. In other words, she has the endurance for drawn out battles. From her skills, this does include the horse riding skill, and you actually seen her using that. Next up, let me actually talk about Incarnation. First off, Incarnation as a weakness. You've actually seen a very clear example already when Asuna got her arm chopped off. Under normal circumstances, Asuna should have been fine, perhaps tanking the hit. However, at that time, Asuna felt fear seeing that huge battle axe. Asuna envisioned that axe easily slicing her arm off, and in turn, that actually became a reality. In other words, do not doubt yourself. On the flip side, you do have Incarnation as a strength. You've actually already seen this, healing. Asuna did happen to restore her arm after getting it sliced off. This was actually post meeting up with Kirito again. Unfortunately, the anime cut out this scene. In fact, in the anime, Asuna instead healed herself with some low-level healing sacred arts. Keep in mind, via the Incarnation system, Asuna also does have access to her mother's Rosario skill. Oh yes, you're about to get a badass Asuna moment soon enough. Hopefully an anime return for Yuki too. Last little tidbit for Asuna, her main opponent. That's actually gonna be Vasago. Come on Asuna, better open up another hole for this asshole. Next goddess, Shinin Goddess, aka Goddess Solace. For the Goddess Shinin special ability, that is Unlimited Flight, which is actually very similar to Alphen Online. I have a feeling that Reki might have given this goddess account to Shinin, otherwise Tifa would have been much more overpowered with this flight ability. For the Goddess Shinin account, all her equipment is GM level gear, especially her GM bow. Her powerful bow is called the Annihilation Ray. Goddess Shinin has been given this wide-range annihilation attack. You've seen the complete devastation from Shinin wielding this. Her kill count? Over 5,000 red knights. So ruthless. but you might be thinking, what are the restrictions? Shinnen has mentioned this bow lacking any rapid fire, but honestly, do you even need that? The weapon does actually need to recharge, which takes about 2 to 3 minutes to fully recharge, although not a problem. The bow automatically gathers sacred resources. In other words, no problem recharging during the day. I wish my iPhone could do that. On top of this, the good news is that Goddess Shinnen doesn't need to wait until it's full. She could actually adjust the amount of force she uses to pull on the string in order to produce this much smaller light arrow when needed. As for any actual restrictions on Goddess Shinnen, you heard about the recharge time for her bow, so definitely less affected during the nighttime. But how about her unlimited flight? The only possible restriction to Goddess Shinnen flying is Shinnen herself not being super experienced using her weapon, plus flying, plus taking damage at the same time. Keep in mind, flying when damaged plus her body being in pain will be something completely new to her. So yes, it doesn't sound like too much of a restriction. Honestly, it does feel like Shinnen got the best deal out of all the Underworld Goddess accounts. But hold up, there's more, a bonus, which is actually a weapon change via Shinnen's own incarnation. She actually swaps her bow for her beloved rifle, the Hekate 2. She's much more at home with her sniper anyway. A nice little perk is her sniper actually keeping the solar recharge ability even in this new form. Then, for Goddess Shinnen's main opponent, that's actually going to be Shinnen versus God Vector. Oh yes, that's why they set it up. Good luck, Sniper Goddess. Next up, Goddess Leafa, aka Terraria, which is the Earth Goddess. So what is this goddess's special ability? Leafa actually has nearly infinite HP recovery. Keep in mind that Leafa does have to manually activate this. Goddess Leafa absorbs all the energy around her to fully heal herself. This includes the recovery of lost body parts. Higa did mention that it's possible for her to restore people and objects too. This ability combined with her massive HP means that it's virtually impossible for her to die. Good luck bringing this HP tank down. Equipment wise, Goddess Leafa has the GM weapon. It's called the Verduras Anima, plus some GM level goddess gear. As a nice little bonus, either via Leafa's own incarnation or her goddess account bonus, Leafa did happen to notice her sword skills expanded several times the original length. But how about any restrictions for Goddess Leafa? Honestly, I was really only partially joking when I mentioned she's like a tank. In terms of power, Goddess Leafa is really made to take some heavy abuse. Her power set has actually been described as a curse instead of a divine blessing. She is almost immortal, but that doesn't stop or diminish any of the horrendous pain. For Leafa, this is actually going to be one of the first times being in this life or death situation. A major problem for the actual goddess would be Leafa not being able to stomp the ground to cast her recovery ability. So what's going to give out first, the enemy or Leafa's mind and body? Then, for the Goddess Leafa opponent, besides some Red Knights, that is going to be the Dark Arts leader D. Better watch out. Possible kinky scene coming for the SAO anime here. But wait, did I save the best for last? Bring on Gabriel, this guy piloting the Dark Vector account. The Dark Vector account was actually set up by the Wrath engineers so they could control the Dark Territory directly. According to D, this god was actually the founder of the Dark Arts on the Dark Territory side. The Dark Vector account does have near maximum HP, along with the high priority GM sword plus obsidian armor. And I know you're dying to know, what could this demon of a god do? First off, this passive-like ability, a very powerful protection, which is the inability to be an art's target or designated for a command-based attack. Keep in mind this was only briefly mentioned vaguely. Sounds like it meant being targeted by sacred arts usage. Then for God Vector's real dark power, God Vector could affect and even control the Floodlight of Underworld people. Previously, this has been used to alter people's memories within their Floodlight, then move them around the map, which is actually the origins of that Lost Child of Vector's story. Keep in mind the ability to influence others' Floodlights even include other goddesses themselves. But wait, it actually gets better. Gabriel took this power one step further. The combination of God Vector's power plus Gabriel's own unique incarnation resulted in something even Wrath couldn't predict, which is the ability to absorb, consume, and suck up incarnation or Floodlights. Really, this vacuum cleaner of the underworld. You've already seen Gabriel do this twice. Once for Lepia, and the second time was that almighty display of power against Shasta. The reason for this really goes back to Gabriel having this literal void within his own Floodlight. Ironically, part of the reason this powerful ability came about is due to Gabriel trying to fill that bottomless void with other people's incarnation or their soul. Keep in mind Gabriel could do this without using any special sacred arts. But hold up, there should be some weakness or restriction to this. To counter this, just have a super strong incarnation yourself that's able to resist this mofo. Otherwise, good luck. Sheenan did happen to notice that gun type of attacks were actually pretty effective. This is likely due to Gabriel's own real-life military experience that plays a factor. Then for the God Vector opponents, you're not going to be surprised that there's a good list. That does include Broccoli, Sheenan, and of course, naturally Kirito. All of these battles have potential for amazing animation. Don't let us down, A1 Studio. Next up, surprise! Goddess account number 5. Lunaria, the Moon Goddess. This has actually only been mentioned like once. Naturally, no one has actually used this account, if it even exists at all. According to Yu-Gi-Oh!, this lunar goddess decides the dreams of people, which does imply some dream or nightmare influence. Sounds similar to what Vector could do, although far less sinister. I got a feeling that Reki may actually bring this Moon Goddess into play, if he ever does revisit the Underworld. Or who knows, it might just be some BS that the Axian Church made up. Getting back to the topic of incarnation as a strength, incarnation being one's determination and willpower. Broccoli has admitted Potato Kirito having this stronger incarnation compared to himself, Broccoli being the strongest being in the Underworld. The reason for this comes from the fact of all the countless times that Kirito has spent fighting for his life. That's right, all of this connects back to SAO. But you might be thinking, what's the reason that this fact is so important? Looking back at the Underworld goddesses, that does happen to include one special SAO survivor, Asuna. Asuna here is actually pretty similar to Kirito. It is true that Asuna does lack experience wielding her incarnation, but just comparing incarnations, Asuna would also stand above Broccoli easily too. As for general weaknesses for all the Underworld goddesses and God, first off, the lack of experience in the Underworld. Gabriel technically has spent the most time from all of them in the Underworld, followed by Asuna just a little bit more, Asuna being a little bit more in the Underworld compared to the other two. Sheenan and Leafa are mostly tied. This lack of experience in the Underworld leads to something more important, not at all being used to fighting here. One very clear example you saw was from Asuna recently. Clearly Asuna is used to fighting in VR, but when you have so many other factors to consider, such as blood, things could get slippery. From the bloody mess, Asuna noticed how the Underworld actually took into account countless more parameters that both SAO and Alpha Line ignored. Without this handicap, Asuna would have been able to easily block anything due to her reaction speed and goddess stance. Let's also not forget about incarnation overall. As you saw me note earlier, Asuna would be far above everyone else, just due to being trapped in SAO, constantly fighting in this life or death situation. Sheenan and Leafa have none of that experience. Gabriel technically doesn't either, since this guy is not from SAO, although the guy is a military man. Is there a potential carryover effect? Not that the guy is lacking in incarnation. Either way, definitely don't give in. Then, how about your burning question? How about Quinella? How do each of the Underworld super accounts compare to her? In reality, Quinella was perhaps on top in terms of anyone born in the actual Underworld. But in the end, Quinella was still just an Underworld human. If you compare raw stats, each of the Underworld goddess easily outclasses Quinella. Then when you combine each of the goddess's special powers, it is good game Quinella. And I know some of you will point out even Kirito beat her, technically just a normal human, quote unquote normal. You'll also notice I didn't mention God Vector Gabriel yet. Throughout SAOlicization, quite a few characters actually compare Quinella to Gabriel. The majority was always Gabriel being much darker, especially with that void in his own Fluck-like soul. But hold up, Quinella is just taking a beating here. Let's be a little fair to this Underworld granny. Quinella does in fact have one advantage, which is hundreds of years of experience bending the Underworld to her will, which means Quinella does have one edge to fall on, tons of experience. If you were to give Quinella enough time, she could realistically Batman a win here. Quinella would just have to move extremely quickly. Who knows, perhaps Reki could write this side story one day. So getting back to the original question at the beginning, who is the most powerful god? Comparing goddess abilities plus experience, God Vector would be at the very top. Goddess Sheenan would be in second place. I mean, flight plus that amount of destruction. Third place, Goddess Asuna with her creation ability. And at the very bottom, Goddess Leafa, the tank. Honestly, Goddess Asuna would rank much higher, if only she didn't have that headache restriction. In theory, Asuna should be much stronger due to her incarnation alone. Let me go ahead and give a huge thank you to Bookwalker. But wait, there's more. Bookwalker is extremely interested in my SAO videos. Go check their site, get some SAO books, then some more great goodies for you. They are interested in sponsoring even more SAO content. Doesn't matter that SAO Season 3 isn't back yet. Perhaps that could even be weekly videos. So head over to Bookwalker, type in Foxen, and you're golden. But anyway, hope you enjoyed this in-depth goddess breakdown. Definitely head over to Bookwalker now. Come on guys, let's make this SAO series happen. Watch my best anime of 2019 and Potato Kirito video too. And I'll see you guys later.